Bloody Sunday. March 7, 1965 is a date we should never forget. Over 600 civil rights marchers headed east out of Selma, Alabama on U.S. Route 80 to Montgomery. They only made it as far as the Methodist Bridge, just 6 blocks away, where state and local police attacked them with billy clubs and tear gas and turned them back to Selma. 2 days later, Martin Luther King Jr. led a march of 2,500 protesters over the bridge before turning around and heading back to Selma. Then civil rights leaders asked for protection for a third march from Selma to Montgomery. This march began on March 16th, with the marchers averaging about 10 miles a day. This time, the protesters were protected by 2,000 soldiers of the U.S. Army, 1,900 members of the Alabama National Guard under federal command, and many FBI agents and federal marshals. By the time the marchers arrived in Montgomery on March 24, 1965, more than 25,000 people had joined in. What caused all this? The voting rights movement in Selma, Alabama. Less than 5 months after the marches, the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was signed. My grandpa Birgit was stationed at Craig Air Force Base in Selma, Alabama, shortly before this event happened. My dad was born in Selma in 1962. In 1964, my dad and his sister moved to Huntington, Indiana. Since he was little in 1964, he doesn't remember much from when he lived there. But in 1977, my dad's family had the chance to go back to Selma to go to a wedding. I asked my dad what he remembered from that trip. He said he remembered that African Americans still didn't appear to be treated like they were equals. There were faded signs on the bathroom doors that said whites only. This bothered him because he thought that these signs should have been cleaned off. On my way to Florida one year, my family and I drove through Selma, Alabama. We decided to stop and spend the night. The next morning, we drove around exploring the small town. We stopped to walk across the Methodist Bridge, just like all those people that made such a strong effort to get the right to vote did so many years ago. It was a pretty cool experience.